Hello everyone, this is Dr. Pavan Soni here, and this is regarding my latest book, Design Your Career. So this book came out just last month, which is June 2024, and this took me about 18 months to write the book and another say 6-7 months for it to go through the round of editorial. And I'm very happy that this book came out because this is a distillation of a lot of my thinking around life and career. And in this short video, I would like to take you through what this book entails. It's a very small book. It's like 275 pages. Right now, it is available widely on all major bookstores across the country and, of course, on Amazon and Flipkart. And I would encourage you to go and pick this book up. So let me quickly take you through the main thesis of this book. Okay, so it's called Design Your Career, Lead Self, Lead Others, Lead Change. So this book has 6 chapters. The first chapter is titled as Life is Long, Pace It Well. So what it essentially means is the fact that life is really long. We are arguably living the longest in the history of mankind thanks to advancements in medical sciences, the better nutrition that we have got, and mostly the better lifestyle that we have been endowed with. But I think we are not making it count. Okay, so we are living longer, but are we really living well? Okay, so that's what this book talks about, this chapter talks about, which is life is long, pace it well. So instead of trying to rush through your life and trying to retire by the age of 40, it might be useful for things to happen. Allow things to happen in its more natural pace, and that is what would really be very useful to all of you. Of course, in the subsequent videos, I'll delve deeper into each and every chapter and take you through the key concepts and the key frameworks that I'll discuss. The second chapter is called as Deserve Before You Desire. Now, of course, we have a lot of desires around us. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be rich, you want to be famous, or what have you. But do we really deserve it? And what are we doing to achieve that particular aspect? So in this particular chapter, I talk about problems. I think life is all about problem solving. At the very microcosmic level, you are solving problem knowingly, unknowingly, methodically, ad hoc on a daily basis, right from the moment you wake up to the time you go back to bed. Whether it is about your career or life or anything in between, you are trying to solve problems. So here I talk about how do you develop capabilities and become a better problem solver so that you are deserving before you desire something. Then we shift our gaze to career. As the title of the book is Design Your Career, so the first 2 chapters I spend on designing life. The middle of the chapter I talk about individual contributors and people who are at different stages of their career, including the managers. And as I said, this book targets a very wide range of audience, starting from school-going children to college, to the graduates, to working professionals, and even those who are in the mid-career phase, wanting to start a business, etc. The third chapter is called as Own Your Career or Somebody Else Will. Now, what has happened, especially post-pandemic, is that we have now lots of options opened up to us. Okay, you have the gig worker, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a freelancer, solopreneur, moonlighting, working from home, parent, etc., etc. Now, with all these options thrown at you suddenly, you need to really understand what is good for you and what you are capable of doing. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but how many people can really go out and do something more substantial with their life? And that is where I am suggesting that you have to own your career. You see, you almost spend like a quarter of your life either working or preparing to work. Okay, it comes second only to sleeping time. So if I reduce the sleeping time from your life, the biggest portion is actually working. And you can't really leave the career choices to somebody who is least interested in you emotionally, who is least invested in you. It can't be your boss, it can't be your HR, it can't be your family members, it has to be you. So the book really talks to you and how do you make conscious career choices. So again, there are some frameworks and I'll be delving deeper into these frameworks along the way. Then the chapter 4 talks about focus on high leverage activities. Now, what is a high leverage activity? A high leverage activity is something that you do where the results are multiplied and cumulative over a very, very long period of time. So it offers you compounding returns, it helps you create an asset, and it is typically not very urgent. So while you might be busy from morning till evening doing chores, attending meetings, doing reviews, going on calls, traveling, etc. But if you really take a stock of your last 1 month or 1 quarter or maybe the last 1 year, you have to really ask yourself this question, that what stood out? Did I really pay attention to doing high leverage activities? Because life goes on. There's nothing that really matters unless and until you want it to matter. So the chapter really talks about how do we appropriate time to develop activities, to invest in activities which are high leverage. For instance, I think that writing this book is a high leverage activity for me, because it not only allows me to think more clearly, but also to articulate my thoughts in a format which outlives me, and God willingly, it might impact a few people in terms of how they think. The 5th chapter talks about think strategically, act decisively. Now, let me caution you that strategy is not about what you do for the firm. Okay, you don't have to be a strategist or endowed with the responsibility of building a strategy for your firm. You can be strategic about your life. And what can be a bigger project than your own life? How much long can you pull it when the things back home are really not well and you really want to take on battles on the office front or your professional front? I strongly believe that if you have peace at home, you can take on the world. But if your children, your spouse, your parents, your other family members are not happy with you and you don't have an environment of peace at home, I think all the riches that you may be earning elsewhere don't matter, and you know that. You can't escape from reality. So better to face the reality with strategy. So this chapter talks about how do you think strategically? How do you develop a long-term orientation in life? Okay, as I've always been maintaining that you can die accidentally, but you can't afford to live accidentally. You see, you have to live as per a plan. Now, of course, plans can fail and plans do fail, but what does not fail is planning as a skill. So this chapter is about how to develop plan for your career, plan for your life, so that it is substantial and it results into an impact. And the last chapter, chapter number 6, is leadership is a choice not everyone can make. Now, we often think that if I have people that I have managed over a long period of time and then I have moved up the proverbial totem pole, suddenly I'll become a leader someday. It doesn't work that way. You can never ever be a manager enough to suddenly start leading. A leader is a different character altogether. You see, it's a very different character altogether. So to be a leader, you need to make some very conscious choices. Because when you really become a leader and situations come at you, you have no script to fall back on. You can obviously manage the chaos, contain the chaos, but leaders don't contain chaos. That's what managers do. Leaders take on things which are more significant up front. Okay, so these are the 6 chapters. Now, while writing the book, I've taken a lot of references, I've done a lot of research, and I'll read out the realms from which I draw. So I'll read straight from the book. The book gleans insights from the realms of history, psychology, sociology, medicine, politics, sports, military, business, economics, arts, music, entertainment, and spirituality. Okay, so the idea is to really think of your career and your life in a much more systematic manner so that you are able to apply a lot of science to it. Because the bigger tragedy in life is that whatever you have been trained to do, whatever you have been educated to do, if you don't apply that in your own personal life, what good can you do to any business? What good can you do to your customers? So I think charity starts with home. So the appeal here is to, first of all, go and pick this book up, and God willingly, if you find the book useful and if you are able to embrace some of those thoughts, please apply that to your own life, because there is no bigger a project than your own life. And maybe you can be an inspiration to several other people who might be just about wondering what to do. So I hope this was useful. So in the next few videos, I'll be talking about each of the 6 chapters of the book and looking forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you so much.